Day 4 of the Euro, and Spain's already stumbling.
Let's look at that.
Good morning and welcome back to the Pink Table. We have a few things to go over today, specifically the results that came in yesterday. And we'll also be touching on today's fixtures from the last group left in the Euro. So we're only going to be having 2 games, Elaine, today.
Yeah, that's right. We saw the games round up Group D and Group E yesterday. It was quite an interesting day of football. The Czech Republic-Scotland game was an absolute cracker, a bit frustrating if you're a Roma fan, if I have to be honest. Patrik Schick just lit that game up and I think made Roma fans and Serie A fans remember why Roma broke the bank and set their record transfer fee on the boy to get him from Sampdoria. It never really worked out for him at Roma, but last night or yesterday, I think he proved to the world that he's got a lot of talent. If you haven't seen that second goal of his, I recommend you go find it because it is arguably already goal of the tournament.
Yeah, and also I think it was also a good day for Monchi overall. I think, wasn't he the one that brought Schick and Olsen over to Roma?
Yeah, correct. It was a bit of a strange day as a Roma fan overall. You got to see Robin Olsen overperforming and showing Roma fans why we spent a fortune on him after the last World Cup. You had Patrik Schick dominating in that game against Scotland. And then you also had a little bit of a blast from the past in the Spain game, watching Luis Enrique on the bench. That Spain team last night resembled his Roma team in a lot of ways, a lot of vertical passing, a lot of possession, but very little going forward. So it was a weird day as a Roma fan.
Yeah, well, let's go into the results. So first of all, yesterday we kicked off with Scotland, Czech Republic, which I think was, I wouldn't say the surprise of the day, but I would have put heads all my money on Scotland winning there, and they actually were playing well. So interesting game, that one.
Yeah, the Czech Republic team is a very solid unit, especially defensively. They're not the most flashy team going forward. I know it's a bit of a contradiction after what happened yesterday. They looked super flashy going forward. But they struggled a lot against Italy in their game just before the tournament started. I think once they reach harder opposition, they're going to struggle. But the Scottish team didn't look up the pace, in my opinion.
No, they didn't. But they do look promising. But yeah, they were missing that. They did try at the end, which was quite entertaining to see. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to get in there. Moving on to Poland, Scotland, Slovakia, I would say this was by far the most entertaining game that at least I enjoyed it. Polish team were looking quite strong. Lewandowski was kept out of the game entirely. The Slovak defense was superb. Skriniar, I think, man-marking him and also getting a goal there at the end, which was like an exact replica goal of Skriniar's goal against Atalanta. Kuchka, one of my favorite players of all time, was superb yesterday. Seeing Hamzik again on the field was also fantastic. Big ups for Hamzik getting into a high competition again and being able to perform at the level. Just overall, a bit of a sad Poland team. I think it becomes quite critical now. I think they might be one of the teams that qualify as the third favorite, but let's see how it pans out. But overall, it was an exciting game.
Yeah, in our match predictor, I think we had Poland to just edge it, even though I have been stating that the Slovakia team is a team to keep an eye out for. They are, in my opinion, the dark horse of the tournament. They're organized defensively. They've got a high work rate in midfield. And they've got experience for a team that nobody's expecting to go very far. I hedge my bets on Slovakia. It was a great game yesterday, and yeah, I'm excited to see how far they go in this tournament.
Yeah, and moving on to last night's game from Sevilla, we had Spain versus Sweden. It was a very new Spanish side. A lot of criticism coming in from the Spanish media just towards Luis Enrique's choices. Yesterday, he decided as well, for example, to use Simon in goals instead of David De Gea. So he's going for youth instead of experience. He was hoping to base most of his matches and like most of the feeling from the team from enthusiasm. Unfortunately, I think that didn't pay off, and you could see a lack of experience yesterday.
Yeah, the Spanish team did look a bit inexperienced. The Swedish team looked good, though. I was really impressed with Ishak up front. He was giving that Spanish defense all sorts of nightmares for the period that he was on the field. But if we want to talk about a coaching mistake, I think Jan Anderson taking Ishak off when he did was even as big a mistake as what Luis Enrique was doing. But yeah, Spain doesn't have a striker. It reminds me of that Spanish team in the early thousands, just after Raúl and Morientes retired. It's a very good team, but they don't seem to have a focal point up front.
Yeah, well, you can see the team kind of changed when Thiago Alcantara was put in there. It ticked differently, and I think more chances were created. So they just need that little push of experience. Also, the fact that Morata missed a few chances and the fans started whistling, like, I understand, and Spain obviously expects higher standards, but this is when you should be supporting your team more and not putting them under pressure. But I suppose in Italy we might do the same.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. You win a couple of World Cups and a couple of Euros in a 2-decade period, and the expectations are automatically very high. Sort of the opposite of Italy right now. We've had a bit of a rough decade, so every win for us seems to build on this wave of enthusiasm.
Yeah, and today we finish off the Euro match day 1, Group F. So we're going to have Hungary, Portugal. So the champions are going to be playing today. I'm quite interested to see how they perform. I marked them down as going to be a bit of a fumble this Euro, but let's see how they go into the Hungary game. And then everyone's kind of holding their breath for France and Germany. This is going to be a very interesting game to see how the world champions perform. And we actually in our predictor have Germany winning. So obviously, I mean, not Germany winning this game, but Germany winning the entire tournament. So let's see how they fare in this game. But it's going to be a good game. Hopefully, it might be one of those games that they just cancel each other out, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a very competitive game. I think after seeing PSG Bayern this year, a lot of people are sort of expecting a replica of that game just because of the talent on the field. It's going to be a cracker seeing the Germans, our favorites, against current world champions France. So that's going to be, the headliner of match day 1. Then you've got the other game. You've got the current European champions, Portugal, taking on Hungary. I believe in our match predictor, we had this game down as a fumble for the Portuguese, Adam Zalai getting the first goal. So let's see if the Portuguese can overturn our prediction. I believe that even for the France-Germany game, we had a high-scoring prediction. We've got that down as 2-2, a lot of excitement and a lot of goals. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, and once this is over, look out for tomorrow's video. We'll go over our match day 1 predictions, and then we'll also do another one on match day 2.
So yeah, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow on the pink table.